YouTube. This is Jessica Gomez from Just Saying College, Career, and Community. Welcome to this video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the differences between for-profit private colleges and public colleges and universities. We're going to be discussing a few different things. The purpose of this video is to inform young people and young adults, or really just anybody who's considering going to college and furthering their education, about the differences between these two different types of institutions, because there are different categories that set them apart. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. I am going to be providing specific examples in this video for schools, colleges, and universities that are locally found here in Sacramento, California. So we're going to start with the first one, and that is tuition. So one of the differences between both of these schools is in terms of tuition and how they're funded. So the public colleges are typically funded by state government money, meaning that the government puts money into these schools so that the community can benefit and community members have access to higher education. Private for-profit colleges are mainly funded by shareholders and other private business entities. At the end of their day, they're concerned about their bottom line and about making sure that their shareholders who invested into their school have a return on their investment. So that is one of the big differences between these two entities. The second has to do with size and diversity. Because they are publicly funded, they tend to be on the cheaper side and more accessible to community members. So for this reason, public colleges and universities tend to have bigger campus sizes and also more diversity among their student body. On the other side of that, we have the private for-profit colleges and universities who, like I stated earlier, are funded by private business entities and shareholders, and oftentimes have a very specialized group or student that they're trying to appeal to. For this reason, their campus sizes tend to be smaller, and that has a big part to do due to their specialization. They have fewer courses that they offer and fewer majors at their campus. As a result, campus life at private colleges is virtually non-existent. There are, some private colleges that do have clubs and do have student body associations, but for the most part, they don't tend to be really big. Once again, we're talking about smaller student enrollment numbers, so keep that in mind. At the public colleges, you do tend to have a lot more campus life, mainly being because students live on campus. They have the option to live in the dormitories. They are usually present in greater numbers, and it tends to be more community oriented and more involved in the community, all those organizations that are present at the public colleges. In terms of accreditation, most public colleges and universities are accredited by WASC, the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. On the private side of education, private colleges tend to have different accreditors. And so it's really important, if you are going to go to a private college, for you to know which organization accredits your college and the courses and programs it offers, so that later, if you want to transfer those classes somewhere, you will know that they will be accepted by other accrediting agencies that accredit other schools. So that's very important. Completion time. This is a difference between both of the entities as well. Public colleges at the moment tend to have a longer completion times, specifically because they are the more affordable, more well-known, established educational institutions. They are impacted, which means that it can be troubling to finish in the standard time. So right now it is a challenge to graduate from a community college in 2 years. It is a challenge to graduate at the university level at 4 years. Personally, it took me 5 years to get my BA. I could have done it in 4 because I was lucky enough to have been part of EOP, the Educational Opportunity Program at Sac State, that allowed me to start, my freshman year in the summer as opposed to the fall, and allowed me to gain some early credits. But I chose not to because I did want to go study abroad and I wanted to have that experience. But I know that I could have if I wanted to, because I was lucky enough to be part of that program. Others that I know that graduated from Sac State, took 5 years to get through the BA program. others took 6, and some even 7 or 8. So, and that has to do just with perhaps you change your major, but oftentimes what I hear it's everything's impacted. It's very challenging to get in the classes that you need, and if you miss one, that's part of a sequence, meaning you need to take the class level A before you can move on to class level B. It is going to set you back a semester or two, so that's something to keep in mind. On the private side of colleges and university, the completion times for programs tend to be shorter, specifically because they are more specialized programs. So for example, if you are going to go to a for-profit college, such as Carrington College, to be a vet tech, you don't need to take a whole bunch of general education classes. You're specifically going to be taking classes that relate to being a vet tech. And because of this, they are able to offer shorter programs like 9-month-long programs, 12-month-long programs, and 18-month programs. However, a student at these institutions may not actually complete the program in time because perhaps they're not academically prepared to take on the caseload that the school has scheduled, or perhaps because there are breaks that are take place, or that they need to happen because of some personal issues, or because the school's having some trouble with accreditation or something of that matter. So just keep that in mind, that even though they're shorter, there are also times where students don't finish on time at private colleges as well. Now that we've talked about the different categories that distinguish the public colleges from the private colleges, we are going to get into specifics. Specifically, we will be looking at Cosumnes River College, which is a public college here in Sacramento. Specifically, it's a 2-year community college, and we're also going to be looking at a private for-profit college. In this instance, it's going to be Carrington College. Both of these schools offer medical assisting programs, and we're going to talk very specifically about how they differ in these two programs, that is the medical assisting program. So in terms of tuition, Cosumnes River College currently is charging $46 per unit for tuition, and in the medical assisting program at Carrington College, the tuition per hour credit rate is currently $486. So that is a big difference there. In terms of size and diversity, currently enrolled at Cosumnes River College, we have a student body of about 14,000 as of 2018, and we have about 79 major options to choose from in terms of programs of study. At Carrington College, that number is a lot smaller. We have about 1,128 enrolled in 2018, and in terms of majors or programs of study, there were about 10 in 2019. So that is a big difference there. In terms of campus life, Cosumnes River College has 19 active student body clubs that you can get involved with in order to be part of the community, part of the school culture there. In Carrington College, there are currently not any clubs advertised on their website, and none that I am aware of. So if you are aware of some, please drop a comment down below and let me know. In terms of the educational standards at both institutions, both require the same thing. You must be a high school graduate, or at minimum have its equivalent, which is a GED. So they are similar in that respect. Completion time, the medical assisting program at Cosumnes River College is meant to be completed in 12 months, and the program is 28 units long. In terms of completion time for the medical assisting program at Carrington College, the program is 36 weeks, and it's 36 semester credit hours long. So that is how they differ specifically. I think that both of them are great options if you are looking to become a medical assistant. The only biggest difference that I think is worth noting is the price. If you were to complete the 28 unit credits at Cosumnes River College, you're looking at, if you actually have to pay, meaning that you don't qualify for assistance of any kind, you're looking at about spending $3,000. To get the program done and get your certificate for medical assisting. However, if you're considering Carrington College, given the tuition, that program as a whole is about $14,000 or more. So that is a big difference there. $3,000 or $14,000 with a little bit of a time difference. I would highly recommend that students look into first public colleges that are more affordable, and then consider private for-profit colleges, because essentially what you're getting at the private for-profit colleges is you're paying for convenience, and that means you're more likely to graduate with student loans. So please keep that in mind. But if you are a single parent, or if you are you have time strict limits that you want to go ahead and invest into school, that may be something for you. But at the same time, keep in mind you're paying a lot more at sometimes, like 4 or 5 times, 6, 7 times more. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. And thank you for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Bye bye.